So you've sold to your family and your friends. Now who do you sell to? Who actually is the person or the perfect customer you should be looking at? Bam! Hey, I'm John Harris, and this is Info Products, coming to you live from our digital studio. Before I answer that question, I want to go over some of the things we mentioned in our last episode, namely market, media, and message. Just to recap, we looked at the market of who is your ideal market, where do you find them, where do they hang out, how do you approach them, and what do they want. So that is the market as a brief recap. The message, just going over my notes. What is your guarantee you're going to give out to them? How quickly will you deliver in your messaging? Will you deliver your results? What is the service? What's the reliability? What is your price point? How do you add value to that price point? How do you position yourself as an authority? What kind of expertise do you have? How do you relate your experience? What is the actual niche or sub-niche, blue ocean niche? And how do you position yourself there? Some of the messaging that you're going to get out to your clients, your prospective clients. The media. Are you going to use social media, your free media, paid media, online advertising, your blogs, podcasts, email marketing, webinar, webcasts, mobile marketing, etc. Offline, are you looking at books, printed ads, magazines, direct mail, live events, sales, posters, retail placements, etc. So we looked at those market, the message, the media, how you're going to get to your clients. So today, as I mentioned, I want to look at your avatar. Who is the ideal customer? Who should you be approaching, and why do we do this? We have a marketplace, hopefully a sub-market and a niche somewhere where you have a little bit of traction as an expertise, and now we're looking at who is the person that you should be looking for. So your success of your products or services comes down to one thing: choosing the right market to sell to. You can have the best product in the world and it won't sell because you don't know, you're not marketing, or you can market to the wrong people, you'll get no result, or you can use the wrong message, you'll get no result. So having the perfect customer, having that customer is the difference between attracting raving fans and or products that languish and get nowhere. There are 4 guiding principles that we need to look at when we're discovering our avatar. Don't think your product is for everyone. A lot of people, for those of you that are advanced, this is normal, this is what you know. For those that are starting out and even in sales, we generally try to sell to everybody. It's a big mistake. If you don't know who your perfect customer is, you will attract the wrong customer. Another big mistake. Getting the wrong type of customer in, as one of my mentors names them, energy vampires. We've done this a lot, and a lot of times they're not happy with anything, they don't have money, they complain all the time, and that is really not what you want. More specifics, more training. So the more you know about your ideal client, the more the power of that you can attract them with. And the riches are in the niches. So we know that you don't need a very broad niche or niche, you need a deep enough niche that it's sustainable. So we don't want to go too far off the deep end, and we don't want to go too red ocean, too mainstream. One of my other coaches has also mentioned a lot of times that you want to be in a blue ocean, but you want to just jump into a blue ocean. You need to know that it's part of coming out of a red ocean, that there is some attraction there already. There are buyers, there are people that are looking to solve the next problem from what they're already facing when they've made a purchase. It normally relates to another problem that needs solving. So to understand your customers through the demographics and psychographics, this is now where you're going to get more information on your ideal client. The demographics, obviously gender, education, profession, income, home ownership, location, family, lifestyle, online activities, ideal qualities, and bad qualities. You need to know as much as you can about your client, and those are some of the demographics. The psychographics are even more important to me. Anything that drives them emotionally is what you're looking at on your psychographics. What do they love and what do they hate? Certain people like certain magazines, certain TV shows, and they hate others. What is going to create a huge amount of interest? If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? So you're going to look at a client and what was the one thing they would want to change? What is the one thing the ideal client would most like to change? What are the 3 biggest dreams, fantasies? What is the single biggest fear? What myths and objections do they currently have about the product or service? So is there some misconceptions about the product that you're offering or the niche that you're in or even the sub-market that you're in? Those things you're going to need to address, and you need to understand these things in order to handle objections up front. The old way of selling, we used to get a prospect, we'd do a presentation, we'd qualify them as best we could, we'd present them, and then they'd have objections, we'd handle the objections, test, close, and close. Nowadays, we do this in reverse, we handle those objections up front. And in order to do that, you need to know what is the biggest pain points and what is likely that they have, the myths and the fears that they have within your particular marketplace. Identifying your ideal client, you need to reverse engineer the super and specifically the attributes your ideal client has. What are their actual ideal skill sets? What are their capabilities? What are they something that's unique about them that they actually could use to integrate to what you're offering? Do they want perhaps growth? Are they action takers? A lot of times I've dealt with people that want stuff and they want to do stuff. For example, our funnels, they want a sales funnel, but they're not prepared to do anything. They're not really prepared to sit down and think about themselves and think about what it is that they can extract that we can then relate online and get them some traction with. They have a steady source of income. They need to be able to pay for things. I made the mistake a long time ago of creating my first product, the online Dreamcatcher. And one of my mentors, Mike Keatings, reviewed it and told me, this was an online review, and he said to me, look, it's not going to work. You're going to go too far to the left. You're going to get a lot of guys that aren't really in the mainstream as far as economics is concerned. They're on the kind of in the spiritual aspects of things, but not really. It's something that's not going to, it's too far out there. You're not going to have somebody that can, that they can afford it and pay for it. And that product, you spent a whole lot of time making that thing, didn't do the market research, made all the mistakes you're supposed to, took a whole lot of time, a whole lot of expenses, instead of going to an existing market where people are purchasing and looking how I can come from my perspective to create this like blue ocean. So, they have to have an income, the kind of people you're looking for, in order to be able to afford your service. Here's some other things. Identify your ideal clients. What are the 3 biggest pain points? Very important to understand. If you can give them results up front, again in the sales process we want to give them results up front. Do they feel overwhelmed? Especially in the online world and the information product world, where it becomes very overwhelming for everybody. I don't know of anybody that does all of it. If you get guys that are great on stage, they aren't good at doing necessarily at doing Facebook ads. You might have people that are very good at doing accounting who aren't good at creating. There's a lot of moving parts, a huge amount of moving parts when we get to online business. Do they have a list? Many people start out with no list, and they're in a position where they can't get going because they just don't have a list. They've got to know how to generate and start to build that list. And a big one I find is that they're not technical. So, like myself, we're not really technical. We're not coders. We're not people that sit and create web pages. We're not the people that do the technical stuff. These things you need to understand that are big pain points. If you can solve some of these problems for your clients, that is what they're looking for. That alleviates a pain point, and that's what they're willing to pay for. Identifying your ideal client. What are your 3 biggest desires? So we looked at pain points. So in identifying them, again, we want to look at their desires. They want better systems that are user-friendly, that they can put in place and even they can use it. They want marketing capabilities. How do they build their capacity in marketing? Where can they learn the tips, tricks of the trade to rapidly expand their market? So a lot of people are on Facebook, but there's Instagram, which is very, very powerful medium, and there's a great opportunity to train in Instagram. They want technical support. A lot of times you'll go to certain platforms that I've joined, many platforms at great expense, and you don't get any help whatsoever. Others are great. They come back to you straight away. They sort out your problem. They have huge, powerful communities that will also interact with you and help you solve your problem. So you really need to make sure that you can get the technical support for whatever platform or products that you're using, technical platforms that you're using. You need to have backup on those platforms. Your ideal client, look, to identify them, you've got to describe in detail. You must understand, the more detail you get on your potential client, your potential perfect avatar, the more you understand them, the easier it is to do the rest, to create the messaging. Does that make sense? To then know how the media that you're going to do, because you know where they hang out. So are you going to get to them on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube? Is it live events? Where do they like to hang out, and how can you approach them? To know the basics, the female, male, what age groups, what income brackets, and so forth, those things, and especially the psychographics. So we just recap on that to understand the emotional needs, the wants and needs, and how we can then message around that. So that was a little bit about the avatar. Next time we're going to go into brand message, to position yourself in your brand, but we really need to spend some time. You need to do this research. I just want to tell you that I started a co-working space, and I saw everybody was jumping into it, so I jumped into it, and I didn't do local research. And although I had some people coming through, and we were some of the first to have great speakers there, to have interest groups coming in there, to provide extra value for the people that were using the co-working space, we really ramped it up. And even so, it just wasn't making the cut. And that was because in the area I was in, I didn't check by doing research. I'm advising you as a startup, or even within your own, before you add on to what you're doing, do the research. When you go into the marketplace, do the research. The more you understand your client, the more power and the more potential your business will have. So that's it for today. I hope you picked up a few tips. And as usual, remember to comment, like, and follow us. And I will see you in the next episode. Again, I'm John Harris, and thanks for watching the video. Please, if you enjoyed it, if you liked it, just click the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe, and perhaps go and look at the other videos if you haven't already seen them. And I will see you in the next episode.